okay, just leave it on the porch. I'll come get it. And they'd still knock every time. I'm like, I just wait there, wait for them to leave it.
I still do the same thing. I refuse to answer the door if DoorDash comes and they knock on the door. I'm like, if they hang out for a little bit, I'll be like, all right, I'll answer it. But if it's like, if they just like knock and wait like 10 seconds, I'm like, I'm not opening the door.
Nope.
You just leave it. I specifically ordered through DoorDash so I didn't have to talk to somebody.
Exactly. Or like I'll DoorDash stuff at work and I'll be like, hey, if you could just leave it in the front lobby, like no one's ever up there, like just that'd be awesome, thank you. And they always try to poke their head into the shop and they're like, Davey, I'm like, just leave it up there, thank you. Ruin the whole point.
Around and be like, yo, Davey, your food's here.
Ruin the whole point.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. Shout out to the pandemic for making me comfortable in situations where I would usually be social. And welcome to the JTN podcast. My name's Davey Hazard. That's Joe Tawansky. We got our special guest again, Matt Steelman. And Joe's really mad at me right now.
You didn't even call it the right name. You didn't even call your own podcast by its name. Like, this one's already a train wreck. Like, already. We're not even 20 seconds into it. And it's a train wreck.
This seems to happen every time I come on. I feel like that's a common denominator.
I feel like if we just...
What did I say? I don't even know what I said.
JTN podcast.
Welcome to...
This is a JTN podcast. This is the Fake Racers podcast with him, Davey Hazard, special guest Matthew Steelman. I'm Joe Tawansky.
Hello.
We're gonna have a good episode today. This is the tell.
Davey actually watched racing this weekend. That's good.
Ouch, pain, hurt.
It's true though.
Yeah, it's true.
Sometimes the truth hurts. But yeah, welcome back, Mr. Steelman.
Hello. It's a pleasure to be back.
He's here.
Yeah.
Davey's here.
I'm here, and we're ready to party.
Davey was only like 2 minutes late too, so it was great.
No, I wasn't.
I was only like 3, so it's
perfectly on time. 8:30 on the dot.
Yeah, I call BS, but
I checked the time.
Which is funny because I got here after Davey, but I'm not getting yelled at.
Go to the tape. Just go to the tape, Joe.
You're special guest.
Go to the tape. Go to the tape.
Guest.
My mom says I'm special.
Go to the dang tape.
Oh, off to a burning start. But of course, this is the Fake Racers podcast, folks. Make sure, if you haven't already, if you're on YouTube, you drop a like, subscribe to us. I don't know why you would, but you can. That option is definitely there. If you hit the dislike button, I don't know, you suck, I guess is what I'm supposed to say, but that's okay, too.
Interaction!
Make sure you comment below what you think, because we're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff tonight, starting off with NASCAR. What people are saying should be the new tradition. Road America and the 4th of July, they went together pretty good, didn't they? They
did. It was a party. Those road course fans, man, especially for NASCAR races, they know how to party. It looked like it honestly looked like a really fun weekend. Everyone that I saw like on Twitter that was there was having a blast. Like honestly, like it looked like a legitimately really fun weekend. I'm down for it.
Yeah, from the little bit I saw on TV, or I should say saw on TV live, definitely looked like they were into it. Road America's a great place too. I love that track.
Road America's fun. Xfinity race I thought was better than the Cup race. Cup race was it had its lulls, right? Because of the whole caution at the end of stage 1 that got prolonged because they were at the end of stage 1. But there's a lot of good racing throughout. Again, this goes back to my whole argument, and I will continue to make it. Unique racetracks make for unique racing. Unique racing is always good. Road America, a road course, a more natural road course than pretty much every other circuit that we're going to go to this year in terms of road courses. Watkins Glen isn't really a natural road course. Roval, Indianapolis, obviously. Daytona was not. COTA is an F1 track. Sonoma, not a natural road course in a lot of senses. So it's the most natural one that we've gone to in the Cup Series ever. So, I don't know. It was unique. It was fun. Good atmosphere, right? And that's what you want from a 4th of July race, because you celebrating
do.
America.
Oh yeah.
You do. I noticed that a lot. Like all the drivers, I like saw people in the industry every time. Like everyone who was rolling into Road America could not get over how beautiful it was. Some of the shots on TV, some of the shots that like were posted on social media, just absolutely beautiful. What a gorgeous racetrack, gorgeous time of the year. And honestly, I really liked all the racing. Like I really liked, the Cup cars were kind of struggling to get around that track in some places. It was a lot of fun. Xfinity cars as well, even though they've been there a couple more times. I really enjoyed both races. I think we need to go back. I think we need to make it July 4th weekend. We got to make it the thing. I know I just said that like earlier, but I just loved it. It was so cool.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I missed the Xfinity race live, but like watching the highlights of it, it just looked like it was awesome. And I mean, and I mean that's usually one of the best races of the year. So, and like I thought it was a really good fit for Cup and everything. So. I'm down.
It's good when you go to places where you already have a little bit of a book, even if it wasn't with the Cup cars specifically, right? Sanctioning bodies at least been there partially. I know that a lot. It was really surprising to see how many people actually hadn't been there. You know what I mean? I was like really taken by surprise with that, especially considering this was like the big move that a lot of people said they were for, and then to hear that so many guys hadn't been there. So it sounds like they took more of a blind stab at it than what we gave them credit for in the first place. But and they've already announced that they're going to have a race on the schedule next year. I would assume it'll probably be the same weekend. It makes sense. It works. You're not down in the south in the middle at the beginning of July where it's really hot. You're not in Daytona where you're going to have rain most likely. So
yep,
works out. And if it rains, you got rain tires. But that's a whole different issue. We're not going to talk about tonight.
That's not an issue.
Then you get the bonus. You get the bonus of going to somewhere that has America in the title on 4th of July weekend.
That's a fair point. I didn't think about that.
There you go.
Oh man.
But
it seemed like a success though. Like generally speaking, no one was unhappy with the weekend. Like I'd call that a good weekend. Normally we have a lot of fights after NASCAR races. This one was just like it happened. Chase Elliott won, and everyone was like, "Oh, Chase Elliott won the road course." But like other than that, like everyone was pretty happy with the racing, the atmosphere, which I've noticed has been. I don't know. Maybe again, who knows? Maybe this is just an NBC thing, kind of highlighting the atmosphere. Because both races they've done, albeit that one was in Nashville, which is at least recently untapped racing market, and then Road America, which I don't have to say anything else about. Again, road course racing fans in America. They party hard. They go hard. Sebring is insanity. You don't go to Sebring and remember anything about it, like that kind of thing. Like it kind of. I don't know if this is an NBC thing, if this is just a coincidence, or if it's both or the tracks. But it really it feels like the last two races have been actual events, and I've enjoyed every bit of it.
If I may though, Fox did a lot of the same things that they would have got ridiculed for it. If I can be a downer real quick. They would have.
Nah. Like what? Let's hear it.
Because Fox got criticized so much for being campy, right? I think that's what we've talked about it. They were campy. They were. You can't say that they weren't. Showing Jay Leno and I don't know his co-host on his new game show for 20 laps during the Coke 600. That was definitely a low point. But I feel like when Fox does these types of maybe highlighting the atmosphere thing, they don't get the same reception. I don't know if and NBC probably does a better job of it too. Mm-hmm. That's why your people are more open to it. But like you said, they've done a good job. When this was the Hey Rut segment, instead of going to this Jack Collinsworth guy, people hated it. Like I know that was 2 years ago, but I just remember everyone always talking about, oh, I hate seeing Rutledge Wood randomly at the Ferris wheel, and you know what I mean? And it's the same thing. It's just it's a different way.
I'll interject real quick and say that I've always loved Rutledge Wood, and I think he gets disrespected. I said this in the USRL Discord. Rutledge Wood knows more about cars than most of that damn garage area, and I can guarantee it. He's a smart guy, but he has to play a character.
I think the other thing is when people talk about the campiness of Fox, I think they're mostly referring to the booth. How it's like we got to distract from all the time. Be like, you got to win Clint Bowyer's money, and we're goofballs up in the booth. While NBC, like, you'll have Junior and Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton. They'll crack jokes with each other a little bit, but they mostly stay on topic to the race.
Win Clint Bowyer's money. Put it out. Like, hey, look.
Which was annoying because I thought Bowyer did a really good job in the booth. Like, I was fully ready to be totally annoyed by Clint Bowyer this year, and I was like, wow, I'm actually enjoying listening to him talk when they talk about racing.
I agree. I actually do agree with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and NBC did another thing that they've done a little bit more this year, but really using the helicopter shots, overhead shots. And they were so good on a road course.
There were some good ones. There were some good ones of those. I can't remember the specific ones, but I think they were following them down into turn 5, up that hill, into the left, down into the right. Like, they followed them for like a good middle portion of Road America, and it was so good. It was so freaking good. I didn't even remember that until you just brought it up just now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice when all the camera work isn't just this all the time. Hey, check it out. Look at this car. Oh, we're going to zoom right in on the left front tire because that's all you can see. Thanks, Fox.
Zoomed in. For our audio listeners, super zoomed in.
Yeah, that's a 1967 Chevy Nova, by the way. Anyway. Yeah. I hate
they are really
over zooms. Yeah.
They are really guilty of that, and it's become more and more of a thing that they do.
It's almost like I know Davey hasn't, but Joe, have you ever watched like any of the NFL film stuff and how they have their own cinematographers and they'll do like these crazy cool close-ups and everything on the action? It's almost like Fox's NASCAR team has watched that and been like, we want to do that, but they don't realize that NFL film stuff doesn't work for live footage because it's like you watch the game and then you go back and you're like, all right, now let's get in close. Let's see the cool side of it. There's a reason they don't do that for broadcasts.
And I think that's the difference. I think Fox has gone towards a more philosophy of presenting the sport like stick and ball sport, where NBC has kind of let it be sport.
Yeah.
Because Fox Fox did the big transition to FS1 away from speed, which mild success because it definitely hasn't been all it's hyped up to be because it's not even the second most watched sports network. It's not even the third most watched sports network. Well, it's ESPN, ESPN2, and NBCSN, which is going away. So they'll move up one, but it's I think a lot of the big wigs at Fox.
I think Fox Sports is going away too.
FS1? No.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Disney closing Fox Sports and Star Sports Channel.
Old.
Oh, never mind. That's
the regional networks.
Never mind.
Yep. Now it's Bally Sports.
I thought I had heard something about that.
Yeah, because that was all because if Disney held all those regional networks and they had ESPN, it was an antitrust thing.
Yeah, they would have had a monopoly.
Yep. But I think they still have a lot of old heads running the show there that aren't necessarily into motorsports all that much. I think it shows with the way they don't really promote the races until like the week of, or Daytona 500. You don't see big promotions until like if they have the NFC Championship game or a couple weeks before. That's where you really see the big promotional push. Where NBC promotes like the Indianapolis 500, they'll promote it 2, 3, 4 months out. They'll promote these big events. They're already promoting the NASCAR Championship all the way in November. Like they promote that as part of what they have. Fox used to do that. They don't do it anymore to the same degree. So I think it goes back to that. They're not as interested in promoting the product that they're paying all this money for. That in turn means, okay, we're not going to spend time actually trying to understand and figure out how to present this product in the best light. And then it's just a snowball effect because then you're angry. And now NBC has a big list of notes about what not to do and what to do. But I think that's how you got to play. And plus, it always falls on Fox to set up season 2, which I think Mike Joy has talked about it before. It's on them to set things up, and then NBC. It's a lot easier sometimes to close out a story than to start it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's part of where that struggle comes in, because I think Fox's broadcasts a lot of times are really good. They just have these lackluster sections, segments, whatever, and then people in general just like, I don't know. I went on a rant. I know I did, but I don't care. It's my show.
No, is what it is. So.
I make the rules.
I make the rules. You guys just
It's all
sit there
me, baby.
and listen. IndyCar went to Mid-Ohio in a the start was atrocious. That's about as much as I saw until the highlights at the end of the race.
William Powerful.
Dude, Penske cars like can't catch a break, and I am well
half of
one of them
couldn't.
finally caught a break.
Yeah, one of them
And
finally
even then,
did.
the race was slipping away there at the end.
Dude, it was like really about to not go his way. I mean, the whole
Third straight
race was kind of
race.
like culminating to this Joseph Newgarden win. Like you could just kind of tell he was fastest. He was absolutely dominant. And then at the end, it was like shades of Detroit all over again. Marcus Ericsson was like breathing down his neck.
Oh
I
my God.
really thought he was going to get to him. I think the push to pass.
Yep. P2P.
Push to pass. The P2P advantage really helped him out there at the end because he was like it was looking pretty dire coming to the finish. I don't know how much. You said you didn't watch too much of that race, did you, Joe? You watched the ending. I got you. I was kind of in and out for most of the IndyCar race. I did watch a lot of it. I had it on and I was paying attention. But I mean, really like a pretty normal IndyCar race. You know, started out kind of wild. The willpower thing was. Yeah, that was just. It's like how could it just can't get much worse for Penske at this point. I was like, yeah, they're gonna lose this race. There's no way. This is bad.
Yeah.
Bad juju all over it. Jimmy Johnson spin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, baby steps. There we
Didn't
go.
finish last. Didn't qualify last for like the 7th time out of 8 races or whatever.
Let's
it is.
go,
Yeah.
Jim.
Like-
Everyone beat every IndyCar fans when Dalton Kellett qualifies ahead of Jimmy Johnson. Hey, IndyCar fans when Jimmy Johnson qualifies ahead of Dalton Kellett for like the millionth time. Imagine crickets.
What? Jimmy Johnson isn't good at a motorsport immediately that he's never driven and he's like 40 something?
What?
Ooh.
Crazy.
Man, kick him out.
Yeah.
Get out of the
Clearly not doing anything for the sport.
Yeah, it's not like it's just like a part-time car that Ganassi started up because Jimmy's earned the right to just go screw around to whatever motorsport he wants.
Not even a part-time car; it's a full-time team. I mean, they run. I know what
that's
you're
right.
saying.
Actually, I
They're
forgot.
running all the races because PK's in for the ovals. But
Yeah.
to that point, like, look at all the sponsor exposure. I've seen all those Carvana ads during the NASCAR races.
Oh, yeah.
Now that they're
They're
over on
going
NBC,
crazy.
it's like, hey, look at that! A sponsor wanting to activate with our sport, and then the
And
IndyCar
people are
fans are
mad
like,
about
I
it.
know. It's like,
People are mad.
this is what you've been.
You know,
He's
I'm
not
pissed that I'm
IndyCar
pissed that a
driver.
successful company wants to invest into IndyCar. I'm so angry about it. Damn it.
So, how many people are in IndyCar pit crew? Like 7, right? 6 or 7?
Something like that. I don't remember.
So, that's at least 7 jobs Jimmy Johnson's created by going to NASCAR. Or, I mean,
but
to IndyCar.
Carvana ads.
And then all of the commercials and the sponsor money that he brings in. Plus, he's given Tony Kanaan a part-time ride as well. All the people back at the shop who get to work on it, and all the new eyes that Jimmy Johnson brings to IndyCar. But no, he's bad. He qualified 20th.
He's bad, and I see too many Carvana ads.
Yeah.
I'm angry. Like, it's the same nonsense that I felt when, and this is really unrelated. I'm going on a tangent. Same nonsense that I felt when people were mad when NASCAR bought IMSA. It's like, yeah, I too am really mad that a successful motorsports entity wants to invest in sports car racing. I'm so mad about it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It can only be a good thing. It can only be a good thing because Jimmy Johnson's not going to be around forever. Carvana has staying power. It's a successful business. It's dumb.
Even then, you can look at it like when Danica came to NASCAR, and it was like you're getting a hugely popular driver coming to your motorsport, dropping the one that they're already in. They're bringing tons of new sponsors. She brought GoDaddy and then later on Nature's Bakery and all the and like I think Aspen Dental was a new one that jumped on.
I
Plus
think
all the jobs that it created at JRM and Stuart Haas for her driving for them. Like it was, even if Danica's career didn't go that great, like look at how much good she did for NASCAR.
Yeah,
Like Jimmy's just doing the same thing.
People just it comes down to people just not being able to see the forest from the trees.
Yeah.
or for the truth. Excuse me.
It's all the haters be like, "Yo, it was all Chad Ganassi the whole time." Duh.
I don't even.
They won one race with William Byron.
I don't
even entertain that nonsense anymore. And like I said, we're becoming those people that talk about Jimmy Johnson with IndyCar. I know, but sorry, I'm a Jimmy Johnson fan. I'm once again going to reiterate. Yes, once again, I'm going to reiterate that when you say that Jimmy Johnson's doing like really bad and it's like this is awful, he's doing really bad. That's really bad. That is he sucks. Like you're really devaluing the talent that it takes to drive an IndyCar. Because I don't know if you know this, but IndyCars are hard to drive. Like a lot of power, a lot of downforce, really good brakes. Jimmy Johnson is not used to, especially recently with a lot of power thing. He's not used to driving any of that. No power steering, which I know cars that aren't built to have power steering are a little easier to drive than whatever. But regardless, no power. It's a totally different animal. These cars are hard to drive. They're hard to manhandle. He's driving on some of the gnarliest street circuits that exist, probably in the world outside of Macau. Detroit is.
Oh yeah.
Detroit is hell.
Detroit is awful.
Detroit is hell. I love it. Everyone loves it, and the drivers love it. But Detroit, truthfully speaking, from a purist motorsport perspective, for driving on and racing on, it's hell. Yeah. It's not easy to do what he's trying to do with very little experience. And again, crapping on Jimmy is one thing, but saying that he needs to be kicked out of the sport or that he's not doing good enough, that's my favorite one, is that he's not doing good enough, he should be doing better, really, really devalues the talent that the top IndyCar drivers have right now. It's
such a disservice to all the drivers in IndyCar to be like, oh, Jimmy should be running up front all the time. And it's like, shut up.
He should at least be less than 2 seconds off the pace.
Yeah.
What?
And there's guys that have been doing it their entire careers that are right around him in speed and pace.
Anyway, that's our.
You got your Nashville tickets, right?
Oh my god! Can I talk about that? Is this appropriate time to talk about the Nashville ticket? Okay, so I'm gonna complain real quick. So,
all right.
I've been waiting. They've had 3-day tickets, 3-day Nashville GP, Music City GP tickets on sale for months and months and months now. Basically from the beginning of the season, Music City GP tickets for all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, have been on sale. That's all the support races on Saturday. I think there's a Trans Am race on Saturday too. I really would have liked to go see it, but it's just not going to work out. I'm going to be with my friends. We're going to do other Nashville things. It's fine. So I wanted to go for the single day. Single day tickets went on sale today, a month before the race, for the race day. Pretty annoying. But, whatever. That's fine. They go on sale 11 a.m. Eastern. I got Ticketmaster on my phone right here. I'm logged in. My payment's ready. And the tickets are $85. I'm like, ooh, okay. Well, that's the whole reason I'm going to Nashville for 4 or 5 days. That's okay. I'm going to get to see my hero race again. I didn't think I'd be able to do that after the last Daytona race. Here I am. I get to see my first IndyCar race. I get to see my hero race. And it's going to be great. So I'm going to buy 3 tickets for me and my friends. And we're going to watch the IndyCar race. Whatever, kind of expensive, $85. Go to checkout. Each ticket has, I don't know if this probably isn't an IndyCar thing. This is probably maybe a Ticketmaster thing. It's an IndyCar thing. That's annoying as hell.
No, it's a Ticketmaster.
Oh, it's a Ticketmaster thing? Okay, that's fair enough then. So, and an organizer thing, I guess, with the initial high price already. Even the actual ticket price itself?
Probably, I would.
That is annoying as hell.
Continue.
Anyway, the tickets each had $35 of service charges each.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a Ticketmaster thing. Yeah.
Damn. And I knew the service charges thing wasn't an IndyCar thing or particularly an organizer thing. I was like, yo, I'm about to pay $323 to be at a racetrack for one damn day. Jeez. Oh my gosh. And I just know, that because I feel like $85 for a single day ticket is a bit much.
Oh yeah.
I go to cup races that are less than that.
Yep.
Often.
And you can see the whole track.
Where I can see more of the track and I can see more racing just by time standards alone. So my theory here is this: they waited all this time so they could sell 3-day tickets. They waited all this time. And that way, the demand would be really high and the supply would be really low for single day tickets on Sunday. And so now I got price gouged and now I paid a lot of money. But, whatever. It is what it is.
I was going to say, back in 2018, me and one of my buddies went to Sonoma for the IndyCar finale, and it was like $50, and you got IndyCar, classic Trans Am, so like a bunch of old 60s cars, Porsche GT2 and GT3 Cup, and not Indy Lights, but some other open wheel feeder series. And I think there was even something else. It was like 5 races for like all day, $50. So yeah, you kind of got ripped off.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, it's the only reason I was going to Nashville, and I didn't want to miss out on any tickets and wait for them to go down in price, because if I don't go to the race, which is the only reason I'm going to Nashville, I'm going to be really upset. So I had to stick through, and I had to pay for them. But it was a little. I had something I wanted to say. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is. I guess I just wanted to share that experience of buying. And actually, like, it was kind of funny. Noah in the USRL Discord, Noah Joyce, friend of the show. He's a USRL driver, whatever. He watches. Yeah, that's right. He said something really funny. He was like, "Yep, sounds about right. Time to do that for 3 years, and then everyone gets sick of it and doesn't want to attend, and then the race dies." It's like, oh, ouch. Yeah, sounds about
Why
right.
is there nobody in the stands?
I was like, damn, you actually just described so many crappy street races to a T, like, that didn't last. Oh man, that's sad.
It's like for going to the Brickyard weekend after you're going to Nashville. Saturday ticket where you get the Xfinity race and the IndyCar race, $60 or something like that. We're down in oval turn 4, so that's like turn 1. And then for Sunday it's $60 too, and you get less racing, but it's the same price. Like there's this premium that they're putting on these series that I don't think is fair. Yeah. $85. That's because the 3-day tickets were like $200.
The 3-day tickets were like, I can literally check right now.
Because the 3-day tickets, obviously they'd be cheaper per day, right?
Yes. But
that seems like it's a lot cheaper.
It's not like it is a lot. I think it couldn't have been more than like 150 or 160 for 3 days.
Yeah, see, like at that point,
I should have just
and then try to sell the other 2 days worth of tickets. I mean, that's what I would, even if you can get someone to buy them for like
oh my
$25.
God. Yeah, general admission for the 3-day tickets is $131.
Yeah, so
absurd.
I mean, Sunday would obviously be the big day. Dude, I gotta write down that.
Might want to write that down.
I do.
Whoops. I forgot we were doing a show for a second.
That's okay. A little squiggly next to it, saying
that's okay. There are some single day tickets that are $115 as well, and some of the probably more popular stands.
That's crazy. Yeah. But like you said, people wonder why these events don't pan out.
Yeah. It's really sad. Like I was, I hope that's like not a thing that happens, because, Anyway, why even wait that long? It's got to be why.
Yeah, I don't know why they waited so long.
They waited for people to buy up all 3 days, and then because I checked how many seats there were left for if I were to buy a 3-day ticket, and all the stands together, it was 1,200 seats left total. So, I mean, there's probably only 1,200 single-day tickets, and it's probably by design for them to wait that long and put them on sale. It's like, oh, premium, what you've been waiting for, which is how they've advertised it. Yeah. So I'm assuming that's probably what it was. Anyway, go ahead. I thought someone was about to talk. Anyway,
we gotta move on.
That's at Lucas Oil Raceway.
There you go.
Let me tell you,
that was fun.
It was pretty good. It was nice to see the cars back on pavement. My dad said as much, and I agreed.
Honestly, I could do without dirt races, 1 or none next time out if they keep to the 6 races. I don't think we need more than 1. Big heavy cars aren't built to drive on dirt. So, Eldora was probably better than Knoxville though. But Ernie Francis Jr. obviously wins. He's the guy that, in all of this has the most to gain from SRX from a name standpoint, right? Now, Trans Am obviously isn't widely consumed in the motorsports world outside of actually going to an event.
Yeah.
So, he obviously has the most to gain. Tony Stewart struggled, even though he's the points leader. That was kind of good to see. Don't know if it was on purpose. I doubt it's on purpose, but you never know.
Really happy for Ernie Francis. That was a really that seemed like a really popular win from a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's young too, man. God,
23.
he's young. God, he's my age. Yeah, he's young. Like,
Are you winning
me.
SRX races?
no, nor am I winning like 6 Trans Am championships or whatever he's won.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm
Okay.
26. How do you think that I feel?
Dad.
I think I'm a decade old. No, I'm 8 years older than Sam Mayer, who just
Come
made his
on.
debut.
Jesus.
Same birthday, too. Yeah.
Okay.
God.
Yeah.
He just
Anyway.
barely got to make his debut, too.
Yeah. No, that was the funny thing is, because he made his debut last weekend. It was last Saturday, right?
Right. Or Sunday.
So
Because
it
his
was-
birthday
or-
was Saturday.
Yeah, so it was literally a day after he turned 18.
Thanks, NASCAR rules. But yeah, SRX was right. Had fun.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was a good race. Like I said,
It
it
was
was nice
just-
to see him back on pavement.
It was just cool to see Lucas Oil Raceway again, because I love that place. I'm still mad Xfinity doesn't go there anymore.
Well,
Yeah,
there's if you look at the facility, there is definitely a reason why the Xfinity is here, and it's
Yeah.
structure. That's why they don't go
Yeah.
to places. Everyone
Yeah.
wants them
I
to go to.
know.
Like,
it's
send trucks
fine.
there or something, man.
And
It's such
still
a good short track.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
I know, but build it back up, darn it!
Yeah.
I want to see racing there. I think. I mean, it's just such a cool track. It's sad. It's sad that it's the way it is because the racing there I think would be pretty good, and especially in the Xfinity cars. Oh,
If it was owned by
Yeah.
NASCAR, you know what I mean? They would be there because they would do something to do it all with building the garage area outside the track and
yeah.
Yeah.
stuff. Obviously, Elio ran into Scott Speed, which I'm not a big Scott Speed guy, so I love Elio, so I was go get him. But hate it for the SRX guy.
Dude, they tore Elio Castroneves. I'm not a big Elio Castroneves fan, but I really do not like Scott Speed more than I don't care for Elio Castroneves. Wow, he was not going to get through that corner without dumping him. I mean, he was.
Oh yeah,
He was hooked right,
yeah.
probably from the center of the corner down to the straightaway, trying to get him around.
Yeah.
It was so funny. It was so good. God.
God, yeah. I just don't get Scott Speed. Like, and his iRacing shenanigans were so funny back
Scott
in the day.
Speed's
And I was
career
like, aren't you like a
trajectory-
brand ambassador?
Scott Speed's career trajectory is one of the most interesting things in sport. I don't even know how he got an SRX seat in the first place.
Yeah, that was
name.
the most surprising thing to me.
Yeah, name, but what has he done?
Rallycross. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good
Also,
in that.
shout out to Bobby Santos again. Weird seeing him again. Bobby Santos third. He dumped Paul Tracy, so good on you, bud. Thank you.
Paul Tracy
Also really
rocking
funny.
up in a police car.
Don't
God,
like.
Paul Tracy's
I
a
don't like
clown.
PT. I don't like PT at all. PT is a little a-hole.
Yeah.
I don't.
I
like
can't
him,
stand
but,
him.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Opinions. We all have them, like buttholes. Paul Tracy is one. So.
Yeah.
But I'll give the man something. He's making it interesting. You
Yeah.
got to have someone that you love to hate, and
Yeah.
that's got to be Paul Tracy, and then keep him in for all.
He's
for all-
basically just like a wrestling villain at this point.
he is, and you know what? Like honestly, powered SRX, keep him around. If it gives us someone to lump on, well, every series needs that, right? Like everyone
Yeah.
needs that. That's the biggest thing about Kyle Busch. Like you don't like him, but you need him. You need a Kyle Busch. You
Yeah.
need him. You need someone to hate. You know, like I don't like Noah Gragson, but you need to hate Noah Gragson. You know, you gotta hate him. It's fun to hate him. I
Love to hate them.
I love hating Noah Gragson. It's great. I love hating Paul Tracy.
Someone's got to wear the black hat.
I don't know if I'd say I love hating Noah Gragson, but I do hate Noah Gragson.
We could go into a whole Noah Gragson thing, but we'll leave that
We'll
another
move
time.
on. We'll try to
Well,
keep opportunities.
next time he
out
does
there for
something
us.
Next time he does something stupid on track, I'll just go in on. I'll go hard. So
That's fair. That's fair. You know who went really hard? Justin Marks, man. Talk about going just full send.
So
I was in my car. I had just finished lunch at work, and I was like, "Oh, I'll sneak an extra couple minutes to listen to this announcement." And I was like, "Okay, it's about to start. Let me tab out." I tabbed out real quick, went to Discord for a second, and I tabbed back in. I literally tabbed back in. It was like out of a cartoon. We would like to announce that we have bought Chip Ganassi Racing and all the assets. I'm like, wait, what did I miss? What the hell? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, I was on my 10-minute break at work, so I'm just sitting there in the break room and I'm like drinking my Red Bull and I'm checking my phone. I'm like, when I saw the tweet in our Discord server, I was like, what?
Unbelievable news. Oh my gosh. What a twist!
I put it on the same pedestal as Stuart Haas Racing announcing they're switching to Ford on April Fool's Day in 2016, which they did, and I legit thought it was like a spam account at first. I put it on that same pedestal of out of complete left field.
Yep.
You could even go back to like Tony Stewart just announcing he's going to go buy into Haas, like out of the blue.
Dude,
3 years removed from winning a championship, and he's like, later.
Probably we're just naming announcements now, but like up there with like Carl Edwards announcing his retirement, like,
oh dude, yeah,
like up there, like seriously, groundbreaking.
Like this makes Colleague look like unexpected. A bunch of scrubs.
Yeah. Also, can we appreciate the Giga Chad level move of this is where they were going to buy Spire's charter, and then colleagues swooped out from underneath them, and so they were like, all right, well, we'll just buy the team that provides for Spire.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, this is a huge massive vote of confidence from what I believe to be one of the better businessmen in the sport, Justin Marks, into NASCAR and the Cup Series, and probably especially the next gen car. What you got, Joe?
I was gonna say, people need to realize too when he bought Chip Ganassi Racing. What's the thing that actually has the value? Do any of those employees? Do any of those cars? Does the building have value? No, it's those charters, right? Those charters are, and this is why I hate the new car. The one reason I have to hate it is now we're giving the owners so much equity in the sport that I don't want them to run it, because that's where you run into issues. You know what I mean? Like,
elaborate.
Now you have your charters, right? Your charters are going to hold value. The cars should hold value too, because they're not going to be changing from year to year. It's a common chassis. Everyone has to run the same chassis. Everyone has to, except for the paneling on the body. Everything's the same, and the motor. Now we have these two things that should hold their value decently well, right? They're talking these cars are going to be $750,000 investments, probably more, probably north of that, 1.25, I don't know, whatever it may be. They're going to hold value, though, compared to what we have now. Where the equipment doesn't hold the value at all. These chassis are going to go become Xfinity chassis, or some of them will get Frankenstein into trucks somehow, or ARCA cars, or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
I always worry about giving one, and it's the same thing with like a political. You worry about giving one person too big of a piece, more than a third. And I feel like with charters and the new car, you're giving owners just a little too much.
I don't know if I follow how the car contributes to that, because you can make the argument that the COT was the same way, because the COT was supposed to be a universal chassis that you could use from track to track and theoretically use year to year.
The development of the COT was controlled by the teams, where the development of the new chassis will be by the sanctioning body. So it's not like you can change anything to the chassis. It's not like you can do any of that development underneath what we see on track. You can change track bar mounts, you can change all this other stuff, but you can't change the physical aspects of the car.
Wouldn't that be taking power away from the teams then?
Yes and no. It's about giving them equity rather than letting them have the free room to roam.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'd rather give them the room to innovate than give them equity.
Well, what kind of concerns do you think that raises then?
That the teams will be able to dictate the way the sport goes, and I've already seen where the teams dictate the way the sport goes. Everyone hates it. Everyone hates the current package. Everyone hated last year. Teams
That's been a problem
that.
in F1 for decades too.
Mm.
Yeah, there's the teams have so much bargaining power over the direction the series goes that you get stuff like Mercedes wiping the floor with everybody for 7 years.
Mm.
Yeah,
that's my only problem with. And it's not to say that like the owners and stuff they shouldn't be able to make money off of the sport, but there should be different ways to make money off of the sport than having such a big piece of the pie.
Yeah, and that's the thing that is so backwards about the charter system. Is so what it seems like they're trying to do is they're trying to make charters like franchises in a sport like the NFL. But the problem is there's no guaranteed return on investment like there is in a stick and ball sport. Like if you look at the NFL, every single one of those 32 franchises makes money because of revenue sharing and TV money, and that's something that's not in place for racing. There's literally no guarantee that you can make money. So if you're a backmarker team, like what's the incentive? Like if you're Rick Ware, like what's the incentive to try when you could just flip your charters 3 years down the road or 3 years down the road?
I don't think at this point they're looking to flip all those charters. I really don't, because there is something to a team like Ryan Preece's team. They're going out there and they're running every race and they're being as competitive as they can. And then there's Rick Ware's team that's kind of, they're okay with being where they are. That's a nice way to put it.
That's what I'm more referring to is like teams like Rick Ware, or how Spire openly was like, we're just going to run a shoestring operation for 2 years because it's more affordable that way.
Right.
And then once we have the money, we'll actually try.
But aren't they making revenue then? I mean, they're still making revenue. It's just that they're trying to take profits instead of these other teams that are okay with dipping into the red a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. It's bad for the level of competition.
Yeah.
When you have 6 to 8 cars who are openly like, who cares how we run? Yeah,
I couldn't get there. I needed the little push. I needed that little push there. But yeah, and that's just the charter system. Everyone hates it on the outside. All the team owners, I'm sure, love it, and the team owners that have the charters love it, and probably the team owners that don't have the charters hate it.
Yeah.
But you have GMS still has to get a charter from somewhere, right?
Yep.
And I think that's the last. 2311 wants to get a second charter. They want to open a second team. They probably can. They could probably afford it. That's 2 charters that figure out if they're going to get them or not.
That's the thing that's so baffling about the charter system is so you have the next gen, which is supposed to be modular and super easy to build. And it's like, yeah, we want to attract new manufacturers and new teams. But then you limit it to 36 spots. And it's like, yeah, if you don't have one, good friggin' luck.
Yeah.
And it's like, really, so do you want new teams or not?
That's the purpose. Yeah.
You've put together the infrastructure to try to make it affordable, but now now that the sales of charters have established a $10 million barrier of entry just to even lock yourself into a race, it's, again, to throw it back to F1. Formula One for decades super stingy about who can join the grid, and there's like a ridiculous bond that you have to pay just to even get in, and it's like, look at where that's got you. You're staring down the barrel of a 16-car grid in the next few years if things don't change. You haven't had a full grid since 1995. Like, you have to change things because you're literally turning teams away. And it seems like NASCAR's trending that same way, where they're like, yeah, no, we want to put up this barrier to prevent people from getting in. It's like, I don't understand it.
Can't fill up 40 cars because if you don't have a charter, you don't get that guaranteed share of the revenue.
And to take it back to the sports metaphor, like, it's elusive to be in the NFL or the NHL because you're guaranteed to make money pretty much. I mean, the NHL's a little different, but like NFL teams all make money because of revenue sharing, and there's no guaranteed return on investment in racing. Like, there's so many expenses that it's like you can't run a motorsport like that. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, sorry.
Good. That was the end of my thought.
And something like the NFL has the luxury of being labeled as a profit.
Yeah, that too.
Whereas something like NASCAR, I don't think they fall under that same tax code. So
yeah, The other thing that's incredible, like that's so telling about this is, so we all know that Spire bought those, or not Spire, Colleague bought those 2 charters for 10 million each.
That's what we've
And
been
the
told.
reported, yeah, that's allegedly. And then the reported price that Marks and Trackhouse paid was 35 million for all of CGR, which that mean, they're not going to also sell their charters for 10. That means the price is going to go up because now it's supply and demand. So that means they less than $15 million for an entire organization. Like over 2/3 of that cost went into just entries. Like, how insane is that?
Yeah, you know what? And Ganassi said it too. Like he made like a really good business offer, right?
Yeah.
So there's no way that they paid at least what Colleague paid. They had to pay more.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably in the 12.5 for each charter. So that puts them at. It puts them at like 20. I'm doing my math wrong. Puts them at 25 million.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So then 10 million for the team.
Yeah, 10 million for an entire fleet of race cars, an entire shop, all the equipment, theoretically all the employees. Like, that's just insane to me. That it's, oh god.
And it's a shop that they don't even have in their
so
plans, right? Because Trackhouse and Marks have made it very abundantly clear that they want their operations to be based in Nashville.
Yeah, so it almost makes it seem like the 35 million was for both charters,
right?
And they're just going to have to flip everything else to make up the additional cost.
Like that building will get sold.
Yeah,
like some industrial company or another race team, whatever it may be, and a lot of those employees are going to lose jobs. And I know people are already saying that they're wide layoffs, and there are because many chassis builders, fabricators, and whatnot. But end of the day, there's when you buy another team, when you merge companies, there's a lot of, don't need to.
A lot of redundancies, yeah.
Yep. So that's the thing that really sucks about it. There is, there's stories about the Chip Ganassi employees not knowing until that day. Some people were trying to say that they found out on social media and then that actually worked for Chip Ganassi. So they were told that morning, we're not gonna say names. We're not gonna.
That was one of my favorite arguments that I saw, where some dude was like, "This is so crappy that this happened," and one of the guys who works for CGR was like, "Yeah, we had a company-wide meeting," and the guy was like, "No, they didn't," and he's like, "I work for the team. I was definitely there."
But it's just it sucks because the other thing that comes out of this is you lose a name like Chip Ganassi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone always talks about Roger Penske, Chip Ganassi. They're one and the same in terms of their reach in motorsports. Now you lose one from NASCAR, and I don't know what that says about NASCAR. I'm sure someone's going to have some crackpot theory about what it means for this, losing a B-tier team. But it just sucks because you lose that name brand recognition. Like, Trackhouse isn't a name brand.
And it's not like it's an entirely bad thing, like when Furniture Row shut down, because you're like, oh, there's a car. Like, it's a great new team that's buying in, and Trackhouse looks like they're going to do things that are special, but it just sucks that it has to be, like, the charter system has forced them into a position where they have to buy out an entire team just to make sure they can be on the grid next year.
Right.
That's
the issue with it, not the fact that they...
And that either Ross Chastain and or Kurt Busch are both going to lose their jobs.
I still think Ross is probably going to end up going back to Colleague. I really... And people are like, there's no way they build 3 cars for one weekend. Why not? I mean...
They already do it for Xfinity.
Matt Colleague's like, he is all in on this.
I got money to spend. Let's do this.
Basically.
So,
you guys had a very heartfelt discussion there. I'm like not. I drive them. You guys can be the team owners. I don't know.
You're the one with all the talent here, so.
No.
Yeah, very much so.
Goodness no. I mean, on the topic of it is sad that a name like Ganassi is leaving the sport. I'm not gonna lie here. I'm gonna call my shot right now. Justin Marks has the potential to reach that level for motorsports, I think. He's a really smart guy. He's run multiple race teams, runs multiple successful businesses. He has, like, on top of GoPro, he used to have, or currently still does have, like, this karting import and export business. Like, his company, his dad comes from, big tech out down the like West and Midwest and all that stuff. Like, he's a smart guy, loves racing, absolutely loves the sport. From what I knew of him prior to like the last few years, wanted nothing to do with the Cup team because it didn't make sense. Now that it makes sense, he's all in. He's committed, definitely, and I really think Justin Marks has the potential to be that name and have that staying power in NASCAR, and who knows what else he does outside of NASCAR. I know he loves NASCAR more than anything. So,
yeah, circle back for you. Just remember, you love him when you're complaining about your $85 IndyCar ticket with all the Ticketmaster fees. Just remember that you love Justin Marks, part of that Nashville promotion.
I mean, so is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I hold on. Let me call up. Beep boop boop. Justin, why you do ticket price bad?
I should have mentioned it to him at GoPro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, Justin, can you get the single day ticket?
Yeah. Hey, man, it's nice to meet you. By the way,
single day
those
tickets
Nashville
for Nashville
tickets, dude. Come on.
Like the single. Can you get the single? Can we do that like now or like?
Yeah.
Do we gotta wait till later still? And also, can they not be $85? I know you make these decisions. So.
Speaking of Junior though, like, I know he's came out recently and was talking about like, oh yeah, charters are good for NASCAR, and I'm like, I literally could not disagree more. But
he circled back on that.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, charters
probably
are good.
After he tried to freaking buy one.
Yeah, charters are good. Now let me explain why they're bad. But like, is it not a huge like flag for NASCAR when your most popular driver of all time is like, I'm thinking about going cup racing, and then he sees how much charters are and he's like, absolutely not.
I think you'd end up seeing a conflict of interest there though, and I think he probably enjoys the broadcasting thing. I think that is his place to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think you look back at like a Ned Jarrett, look back at some of these drivers, Darrell Waltrip. There are guys that come from the race car that they belong in that booth. They belong with having their voice out there with the sport week in and week out. I think there would end up being a conflict of interest there eventually. I mean, we saw it with Jeff Gordon pretty obviously.
Hasn't Junior called Xfinity races before?
He has, and he's usually really good about it. I just worry over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
he's even talked about that. He tries really, really hard. I feel like the extra stress, you don't need it.
Yeah. And there's always been commentators that are definitely a little. Darrell Waltrip was a particularly biased announcer. Like, he wore on his sleeve what drivers he liked.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that's honestly more of a credit to Junior to just be like, yeah, I don't really want to call my own cars because I can't be unbiased all the time.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you saw with Rusty Wallace how he would come up with tons of excuses for Steven, and it's like, Rusty,
oh my God,
you gotta just call it how it is, dude.
I called Rusty Wallace Racing the Stephen Wallace Charity Foundation today on the Discord.
Yeah, wasn't there someone posted on Twitter today the clip of Mike Joy like absolutely roasting Stephen Wallace during the 2012
where he missed his record? He's like, he missed one.
Yeah,
it's the 2011
I think
Daytona 500.
That's probably why the conversation came up on the Discord.
No, it was Darrell Waltrip. That's who it was.
No, I thought it was Mike Joy that said it.
Was it Mike Joy?
I'm pretty sure it was Mike Joy.
Yeah, it was the 2011.
Mike Joy's the only guy that has enough clout to do something underhanded like that.
Yeah, he missed it was the Daytona 500 in 2011.
Yeah.
And I think it was when Brad Keselowski wrecked and Stephen Wallace barely missed him, and one of the two was like, he missed him! He missed one!
And I mean, he came piling in like 10 seconds after the wreck.
Wasn't that the same year that he ran into the pole during testing or practice or something?
That was in like 2008, I think. That's when he did that.
To his credit, though, he's had a decently successful late model career since.
Good for him.
Yeah, he was a solid. So Stephen Wallace had a little bit of talent. He just wrecked all the time. Like, he just didn't know the limits of the car, and like, he would have good runs, and then he would just do completely boneheaded things. I think it was in 2007 at like Memphis or something like that, where he and Carl Edwards were just running laps around everybody else, and then he just ran over Carl on a restart, wrecked both of their cars. Like, he would just do stuff like that all the time, and it's like, what?
Sounds about right.
Come on. Or when it was at IRP and like Brendan Gaughan wrecked, and then Stephen Wallace just sauced it into the corner and slid into him and junked both of their cars. And I was like, what are you doing, dude?
I think that's the most tangent we've ever tangented.
Yeah, somehow we're talking about Stephen Wall.
Hey,
We got
that's how you know
Stephen
it's a good
Wallace.
show when we don't follow the script at all.
Man,
Can we get Stephen Wallace and SRX? Oh my god.
I bet we could get Stephen Wallace on the show for like
Probably.
for like
It
a
would
few
be great.
bucks.
It would be so good if they got him an SRX too, because it would have like all their achievements and like they already look like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel for Michael Waltrip. They were like 4 NASCAR wins.
No.
Don't get me wrong.
2 Daytona 500s and an All-Star
I
win.
will
Michael Waltrip.
not take any
2
Michael
Daytona
Waltrip
500s and an All-Star win.
All right,
Mr. Matthew Steelman.
let me
was
change that to
racing
Marco
during-
Andretti. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, but it's all their achievements, and then Marco Andretti, it's like 2-time IndyCar winner, and
Paul
then
Tracy lost 2002 Indy 500.
yeah, and
I
then
know.
like standing at Patrick's feet, and then you get to Stephen Wallace, and it's just like an empty box.
Competed in the Daytona 500 once.
Like Xfinity Series participant. Yeah.
Only driver to hit pole in Daytona infield.
Rusty Wallace's son. There you go.
Oh man,
We love you, Stephen Wallace.
Do
Fan
we?
of the show.
We do.
Do we?
Well, we gotta trek on here. You know who is your home for all your diecast guys? You know who it is? I'm gonna tell you. It's CircleBdiecast.com. Make sure you use code JTM at checkout for free shipping on your order of $20 or more. This is the segment where we always tell you our Circle B Diecast picks. I have a feeling there might be a lazy pick in here or two. I won't call them out for it, but I'm looking at them. So Davey, why don't you go ahead and start?
I picked Corey LaJoie's 2021 the Circle B diecast car, the Stroker Ace Tribute. Pretty slick looking number 7 car. Nice and bright red. Looks real pretty, and it gets over that threshold for the free shipping when you use code JTN. And it's a pre-order. You won't get charged until they ship it. So when they ship it, you'll get charged, but not for shipping because you will have used code JTN on your order.
Right. Mr. Matthew Steelman, do you have a selection?
I don't know if you saw me just get mad there because I was going to find a Stephen Wallace diecast, but they don't have it for sale. I know we did the shirt last week, but I'm looking at Alex Bowman's Pocono win on my birthday. My favorite driver won on my birthday, so that's pretty cool. I'm looking at the pre-order for his 2021 Ally Pocono Cup Series win 1/24th scale diecast.
I think you have to get that
So.
car. I think,
absolutely.
Legally, you have to get that car, and then you're going to get JTN.
Yep, and I'm going to get numbers off. I forgot how much it is.
Free shipping, bud.
Free shipping.
Yeah, free shipping.
Free
That's what it
There
is.
you go.
Yeah.
And you're going to
Also,
support JTN.
I ordered.
Save numbers.
Hold on, I gotta talk to our friends at Circle B because I don't know where my Jimmy Johnson shirt is. Hold on, let me do some searching. I bought a Jimmy Johnson IndyCar shirt. And
Actually, yeah, I swore on the
We're having
earlier, so I'm
Internet.
actually adding the Alex Bowman
There we go.
diecast to my cart
We're
right now.
There we go.
So,
Yep. Hey, I didn't have to say it. You're good. You're back. You're
Did
back.
we catch that?
You
Yep.
did.
Did we catch that?
You swore
Okay.
earlier, so you have to add the car because that's the rule.
Yeah. Yep.
Go.
I know. I also want to buy the neon lights one, and I'm like, stop making me buy diecasts, please.
Hey, it's a good problem to have, let
Yeah.
me tell you. But my pick this week, it's not really a singular car, but Circle B Diecast has exclusive all-metal 1/64 diecast. They have metal chassis, metal diecast body, as well as rubber tires. They're $15, $14.99. But right now they have Chase Briscoe's, High Point, Christopher Bell's Ream, a couple Kyle Busch cars, a couple Kevin Harvick cars, Eric Almirola, Ryan Blaney, Ryan Newman, Chris Buescher. A bunch of cars that I've already reviewed in the normal version, which you can check out here on JTN. Shameless plug, but a lot of really cool cars. I really want to get the Chase Briscoe one, but I'm getting ready to go back to school. Right, but you get it because it's really cool to have rubber tire cars again. And remember, you can use that code JTN. You get 2 of them. You're at $30. You're over that $20 threshold. You get free shipping. Again, that's code JTN at our friends CircleBdiecast.com or PlanBSales.com for free shipping on your order of $28 or more. SRX is going to be slinging it around Slinger this Saturday night. Right now, Slinger Nationals are going on. I don't know if anyone can pull up an update right now on what's happening there. But
Let's see.
winner of the Slinger Nationals gets into the SRX race. I'm really hoping it's Eric Jones, so that way Chase Elliott isn't the first active Cup Series driver to run an SRX. Which we're not going to talk
You got
about
some
that.
serious Chase Elliott beef on
It's
this
not
show.
okay. I'm going to do a little side tangent real quick. I loved Chase Elliott when he was coming up. I absolutely, I have a Chase Elliott Nationwide Series shirt. I got it all. I have his Darlington.
We didn't even mention that he won the Cup race.
We didn't. Yeah, we did. Davey said
We
it.
mentioned it before the show. I don't think we mentioned it on the show. Anyway,
It's
Road
Chase
Course
Elliott.
King. Road Course
Chase
King. Road
Elliott.
Course King. Ooh, 7 out of the last 11. Only 2 away from the record in the Cup Series because we go to like 8 road courses a year.
Yeah, you're literally just naming stats. It's true though.
Oh, I'm turning into that kind of YouTuber. That goes back to the conversation Matt and I had. We're not going to have it. We're not going to have it right now, but Chase Elliott had said something, and it just rubbed me the wrong way, and I hold a grudge because I hold a grudge. He said something about, hey, we don't need to be at racetracks all weekend. We don't need to be there for 3 days for a Cup Series race, and then now we're not doing it.
Oh, you were so mad
I'm
about that.
still mad about that because now we're continuing to trend towards that, and I hate that. I hate that, well, it costs too much money to be at the track for an extra day. Like, at least give me more than one practice on a Saturday, please, and give me qualifying. Qualifying used to be lights out. Qualifying was lights out, and then people tried to make it too expensive, and they ruined it, but I digress.
Can I go on a quick tangent about? Okay, so I like Chase. He's not my favorite driver. I get why he kind of rubs people the wrong way about how he's really monotone and boring, but like, so is Ryan Blaney, and y'all love him too. It irritates the crap out of me how people are like, oh, he's good, road course king. Like, yeah, he's won 7 races on road courses over the last 3 years. Like, he's pretty friggin' good at them. And everybody's like, well, yeah, it's only because Hendrick does their track attack thing. And it's 2 things. 1, why is Larson the only other Hendrick driver to be able to do that on a road course since then? 2, why am I holding up 2 fingers for the first point? 2, what's stopping the other teams from doing that? What's stopping Gibbs and Penske?
I doubt it's money.
They can take a backup car and go throw it around a road course and then be like, oh, look, it's track attack.
I think the difference is that Hendrick builds a separate car that is not a registered Cup Series car, and they make it a lot like the Gen 6 car. The other thing is, I believe that when more teams start to do this, gains traction, I think it gets cut off at that point. I think 2-3 teams max start to do this. NASCAR says no, absolutely not, because the radar isn't big enough yet.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Is it's like if people have such an issue with it, if teams are going to be like, this is unfair, what's stopping you from doing it? Because if that's the way to get it to stop, then go do it. Otherwise you just sound like Ferrari, and you're just going to complain about things and then get it banned. Like, everybody loves to complain about Ferrari, but then they do the same stuff. I gotta counter
your first point real quick, though. You said the other guys haven't improved. They have definitely improved.
No, I'm not saying they haven't improved. I'm just saying Chase Elliott wipes the floor with everyone every time we go to a race.
But to say, like, oh, well, why haven't they won? Well, Chase Elliott. I don't know.
So you agree that he's good at road courses?
Sure, he's better than his teammates at road courses, but all his teammates have definitely benefited from the program too.
Multiple seconds off the pace against Jimmy Johnson in a prototype, but we'll move on.
Yeah, I'm just.
But
isn't that taken? Doesn't that go back to our Jimmy Johnson IndyCar thing earlier?
Yes, it does. I know.
When you're looking at things like that, you can't look at just finish. You have to look at what the bar was before the program and what the bar was after, right? You can't just say, oh, well, Chase Elliott was already higher than those guys on the road. I mean, it's not to say that he's like terrible at road courses. The reason he's good at it was because of track attack.
Yeah, that's the thing that grinds my gears. Is the people who are like, oh yeah, well, it's only like who want to put asterisk next to every road course that Chase wins, and it's like, we don't do that for Austin Cindric.
Yeah, but Austin Cindric has years of road racing experience, like actually racing.
Yeah,
that's a little.
we
don't do it for AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, AJ did, but I mean, we didn't do it for Jeff Gordon, and he came from dirt. We didn't do it for Tony Stewart, and he only ran ovals in IndyCar.
Mm-hmm. It's fair points.
Why I guess it's just because it's popular to hate on Chase Elliott, though, we're going to be like, oh, whatever. It's like when people would crap on Dale Jr. for winning plate races. Like, oh, yeah, screw him for being good at one thing. Like, how dare you have a specialty?
How dare you be good at one thing more than
Yeah.
No, I think but I think there's also that section of fans that won't acknowledge that Hendrick as a whole benefited. I mean, look at how good William Byron is on. Like, he hasn't been able to finish a road course race, but had multiple poles on road courses and
it just takes it back to like literally every team cheats. It's just who gets caught. Yeah. And if the teams have a problem with the track attack thing, go do it too. Because if you can afford to field 4 full-time cup cars, you can build a 5th one to go screw around on a road course with. You know?
I think the other thing is too, it's like so blatantly, like everyone knows it is, but I think that's what rubs me the wrong way. It's not being smart about cheating. You know what I mean? There's like an art to cheating. I think it's like a lot of the old heads would say art to it.
Yeah, and I know there's going to be somebody in the comments who's going to be like,
"Oh, there's no one in the comments."
Yeah. Okay. Well, in my theoretical comment section, there's going to be somebody who's like, "Yeah, well, if with a total straw man thing, like, well, if Gibbs or Penske did it, it would get banned." And it's like, we don't know that because they haven't tried it. So if they try it and it gets banned, then we'll know. So.
Yeah.
And then if Hendrick gets to keep doing it, then you can cry fair play.
Right.
Or unfair play.
Right, but on to the topic at hand, because we are fast approaching a very long episode.
Whoopsies.
SRX at Slinger. Just make a pick real quick. It's going to be a great race. That's kind of what the topic we were supposed to be talking about for the last 10 or so minutes was, but
you guys were doing great.
I had to passionately defend a driver I'm not that big of a fan of.
Bam! Michael Waltrip. Done.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Michael Waltrip. I like it. I'm going to pick him. Actually, I wanted to pick him. I want Mikey to win. Because I hate, and Matt kind of ragged on him, so you have no say right now.
Like Michael Waltrip.
It's not about liking him. It's about acknowledging. It's about acknowledging that he is a successful Cup Series driver. He has 4 wins. He has an All-Star win. So he has 5 wins. And people don't realize, Trevor Bayne's a bust. He won a Cup Series race.
That's also implying that there was hype around Trevor Bayne.
True.
It's like everyone
careful,
thinks,
I liked Trevor Bayne.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everyone thinks if you don't win multiple championships, now you're a bust because they gotta make a YouTube video about it. Like, I don't
say when you put stuff on paper, it doesn't look as good to be like 4-time NASCAR winner to 2 or 3-time NASCAR champion Tony Stewart. So, Michael Waltrip was a good race car driver.
Is Michael Waltrip a Hall of Famer? No one's trying to make that argument. Not. But just to say that he was he absolutely sucked. Like that I hate it when people. It's like if they said, "Oh, Dale Jr. sucks," because I
went on to the show. I defended Stephen Wallace. Do you really think I think Michael Waltrip sucks?
No, it was just I just wanted to throw it out there. No, listen, because I felt so bad because when they interviewed Mikey, and he said something along the lines of, well, he's doing it to prove to everyone that he's a successful race car driver. And I just hate the fact that he feels he has to go out and do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I
do agree.
Joe and I right now are like that Top Gear clip where James is all mad about how much he dislikes this car, and Jeremy's like, yeah, I agree with you. And James is like, no, you're not listening.
I just feel so bad for him because Michael Waltrip deserves to be in the Cup Series booth for Fox. He deserves all this stuff, and everyone's just gonna always acknowledge him as Daryl's little brother, and I hate it because he does not deserve.
I agree
that.
with you.
No, I know. I'm not. This isn't aimed at you. It doesn't have to be aimed at somebody.
But what about Spingate?
Yep, because that was his fault. It was him, not Ty Norris, that said, "Hey,
yeah, we all love Ty Norris so much, but Spingate, Mikey, bad."
Anyway, I'm picking Bobby Labonte.
If you had just picked Michael Waltrip, I would have ended the podcast.
Real quick.
It would have been
real quick.
Scenes.
Real quick. Ty Norris on the Dale Jr. download, he's like, the only reason we got penalized was because I told Brian Vickers to pit for no reason, not because Clint Boyer spun. Like,
a great episode of the Dale Jr. download.
Really good. Really
Absolutely
good.
Listen
There's a lot. There's not just Spingate stuff. It's really
because of that, they also might get Teresa on the show, which is cool.
That would be great. That would be a fantastic episode. Dale probably sitting there and Mike Davis asking really pointed questions.
the tension in that room if that happens.
Oh,
you
dude.
won't be able to feel it. Like I can feel it at some points in the Ty Norris one, just from them talking, and the Jimmy Spencer one as well.
I love
You
the
could
Jimmy
tell
Spencer one.
Dale was borderline uncomfortable to listen to.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you could just tell there's.
That's what makes for good content, though.
It was good.
That's why I try to ask drivers after races.
Jimmy Spencer is terrible at telling stories.
We cannot get into this, but yes, he is. We don't have the time. We don't have the time to talk about how bad it was.
Spencer's great.
We're getting as sidetracked as Jimmy Spencer did on his interview.
It's true. It's true.
I picked Bobby Labonte for SRX.
Yep.
Anyway,
all right.
I really wish you would have picked Michael Waltrip after all of that. It would have been really funny.
Should we go 3 for 3 Michael Waltrip?
No, you picked Bobby Labonte. You stick with it.
Yeah,
you stick.
We went over this last time. You can't change your pick. I like how you're feeling right at home here. This is making me very happy. I wrote Atlanta Repave twice on my sheet to check the times, so I was really thinking about it. But speaking of busts,
we're in Atlanta.
We are, but we're gonna talk about Atlanta Repave first.
No.
Why? Why?
Let's get the picks out of the way, man.
No, because we can't. We end with the last thing.
We just did picks.
We're splitting picks down the middle.
Yeah. I mean, you want to pick Cup? If you want to pick Cup.
No, it's fine. Let's talk about the Repave. Let's talk about the damn Repave. Atlanta's getting narrow. They're making Charlotte.
I don't like it.
They're making Charlotte. That's
I'm okay with the Repave. I'm okay with the steeper banking.
They're going to use some stupid pavement, and they're going to make Charlotte out of Atlanta. And that's all it's going to be.
That iRacing video that they posted to promote it, infuriated me.
Like, okay, that's cool. Awesome.
Here's a couple
the really inaccurate next-gen car on iRacing is racing on the new Atlanta. Okay.
They're like, hey, look, it's a bunch of cars driving the same speed, not passing each other in a pack. Isn't this what you guys want? And it's like, no, you just made a really bad stop-motion race into a real thing.
Yes!
You just took when you've created when you have an NR 2003 offline race and the drafting distance is set too high, so they all just run in a pack, not passing each other.
Just showed us a second Daytona race.
Yeah, or our Texas race that we ran a couple weeks
ago.
Man,
that's rough.
Imagine going back to if you've never watched the last 20 laps of the 2001 Atlanta race where Harvick and Gordon had their photo finish. Go back and watch the last 20 laps where you have Dale Jarrett, Dale Jr., Jerry Nadeau, and those two guys, and they're all running different lines, and all these passes are happening, and somebody at NASCAR looked at that and was like, we hate that. Let's make the track really narrow and full throttle all the time.
That's doing two things. That's one, giving NASCAR too much credit for back.
Well, that's because,
And two, there's a nostalgia crisis.
Yeah, I mean, there's
because you can't go back. Everyone thinks, just go back to 2003, make the cars like 2003, make the car. I'm not saying that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
and please do not think that I'm trying to
I heard this whole rant 2 weeks ago, and I felt incredibly targeted by it. So don't worry.
I hate it's a nostalgia crisis. What it is, it's let's just go back and let's race like they were when I was 4 or 5 years old. Of course you're always going to be in love with that because that's when you fell in love with it.
And also,
counterpoint, I watched that for the first time 2 or 3 years ago. I was 6 years old when that race happened. So.
Hey, counterpoint, when did you fall in love with NASCAR?
It was 2001, but I didn't watch that race.
Okay, but
and I also remember nothing about that year. Yes, I am obviously nostalgic for early 2000s NASCAR, but I'm also looking at this with completely fresh eyes and being like, "Wow, that was incredibly fun to watch."
But there's still something in your brain.
Here's the thing. Here's my thing with this, and it's what makes it more difficult with NASCAR and motorsport as a whole compared to other sports. Is NASCAR has the burden of being really one of the few sports that's heavily altered by the course of time, right? Yeah. Other sports can more or less maintain the same general shape, the same general rules, the same general look, same general playing styles, to an extent. Soccer, football, baseball, more or less you can get an idea of what's going on in the game if you choose a game from the 1900s all the way to the 2000s, 2010s. it's the same game, more or less the same exact thing. Racing, like I said, has the burden of being the only thing that is heavily associated with the time period that it took place in, right? Like, when you think of 2003 NASCAR, you think of the Gen 4 bodies, you think of cars getting up under the rear ends of cars with the low noses, and you think, crappy, cloudy Darlington, and you think of the 70s, and you think of guys with no gloves on, dying every other weekend, and those are real men because they're putting it all on the line, and it's associated with that machinery because that's what we had at the time. The sport changes so much. Every little bit that you grow up with, it'll never compare to what is currently here, in the sense like in the reverse way. What we have now will never compare. But you know what I'm saying. Anyway,
Yeah.
like my favorite time of NASCAR is 2007, 2008. Like, that's when 2008 was awful, but like 2007, like, I think that's the best year of NASCAR racing in history. Is that true? Probably not. But like, I associate 2007 with the Gen 4 bodies, with the Twisted Sisters. I love the Twisted Sisters. That's what we had at the time. People now look at the Twisted Sisters and say that they're ugly as sin. I understand that. I disagree because I grew up with it. And we become attached to those things because it becomes the identity of that time period. There's NASCAR. The identity of each era of NASCAR is really, really dependent on the technology of the time. So it's really hard to look at NASCAR from, stand back a little bit and look at it for what it is, because it is impossible to think about motorsport as in general as an entity, not just NASCAR, without associating a time period with it that you grew up with, because it's so integral to it.
I'm not trying to say we should just go back to the 2001 rules package. I'm saying this from the perspective of, I just saw the Coke 600 in person, and I watched over the course of 10 laps. I'm not exaggerating. You can ask all the other people there. All 40 cars literally spaced out perfectly evenly, about 2 car lengths apart, and ran like that for 600 miles.
Yeah.
There was literally nothing that happened that entire race.
Should have came to Jacksonville with me, Weaver, and Tommy.
Dude, it was awful. Like, it was so fun to sit there and crap all over that race with like Steven and Mikey and the whole gang. But like, literally, they would restart and there would be battles for a couple laps, and then all the cars would just perfectly space out and ride like that for the whole race.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is that the direction you want to go? Nothing's happening. Yes, cars are close, but nothing happened. It was just Kyle Larson ran laps for 400 laps, and that was it. And it's like, yes, there is obviously nostalgia goggles, but you go back and you watch a package where it was about the drivers. I've said this on Twitter, is that the new package, and like, it's one of the reasons why Charlotte is so bad, is because it's a single groove track that you run wide open. Like, there's no room for the drivers to do anything. And that's one of the reasons why Atlanta, even with this package, has been kind of good, is because the drivers can do stuff. They can move around. There's multiple grooves. And I'm using the 2001 race as an example because you have 5 different drivers coming and going over the course of 30 laps, and they're all running different lines. And you're like, man, that's cool. We should try to emulate that. Instead, they're like, no, let's just make them slot cars. Like,
Slot
we've
cars are
seen...
fun.
I disagree, but it's like, what's the entertainment value in this? I don't get it. Like, why is this the direction we want to go? It's not enjoyable to watch.
I mean, it's that's
even in person, it sucked to watch.
That's been money. I mean, that's been the onus of. I mean, that's been the big question, right? I'm sure we'll have another next gen roundup closer to when the next gen happens, and we'll discuss this in a little more detail.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Tommy today, friend of the show, Tom Huberto, 2003 aficionado. I was talking to him today. He was. I mean, we were talking like the next gen car is coming at such a crucial time. I mean, it's almost like a movie script. You couldn't even write this. It's coming at such a crucial time in the sport where there's a lot of division, there's a lot of discourse, a lot of back and forth, a lot of decisions to be made, a lot of growth, a lot of not that. It's kind of it's coming at a really turbulent time, and it's gonna kind of whether it should be or it shouldn't be. it's going to kind of be the tell-all for the future of NASCAR. I feel like. Well, I mean, and that, again, maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe it should be something else.
That's the thing that makes me so nervous about the next gen. Is I'm cautiously optimistic for it because it's looking to solve a lot of the problems that the current car has, but in doing so, it's leading them down a path that I don't think is going to produce good racing, even if the package is better. Like it's like, okay, we're going to have the diffuser, and so it's going to generate all its aerodynamic grip through the floor, so dirty air is less of a problem. And it's like, yeah, but we're just creating more wide open racing, and like dirty air is exacerbated as a problem because we're running wide open and it's everything's single groove, and I feel like it's just going to make it even more single groove. I don't know.
Jay, you've been fermenting over there.
Yeah,
you've been ruminating.
I can see you stewing up there.
But there's nothing wrong with wanting things back to the way they are, but you have to acknowledge the reality that you. And this isn't towards either of you.
Yeah.
Again, I hate the whole let's crap on NASCAR because it's fun and haha, look at me, I'm getting my clicks.
I mean, I obviously don't do it for attention because I don't care about clout.
No, I get it.
It's just like I love NASCAR and I've grown up with this, and it frustrates me to watch something that I used to enjoy so much go down this path to where it's like, yeah, we're just okay with it sucking and not being fun to watch.
Right.
Yeah, it feels like it's abandoning you, especially
It's like it's the same thing where it's a similar thing of when I've like obviously I don't know everything, but it's a similar feeling of like when I watch football and I watch a team do something incredibly stupid and I'm like, how am I here sitting on my couch understanding what you should have done there and you're not? Like it and obviously I don't know that. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but there are things where it's like the Atlanta repave where everybody's talked about how bad Charlotte's been for the last few races and how much everybody loves the multi-groove rough nature of Atlanta, and they're like, yeah, so let's just make it like the track that everybody hates. And it's like, how do you guys not like look on Twitter for 5 minutes and you'll understand that people don't like this? Like the drivers love Atlanta. Ask them, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out how to put them in a concise way.
Yeah.
And it's not to discount people, wanting things to change and wanting to get better. It's not. It's just about. I hate to see people like disappointed, right?
Yeah. And like I also want to say that like I'm going to give the Atlanta reprofile a chance. I hope it works, but it's not it doesn't look promising as is.
And here's if we're gonna judge something by iRacing, as a podcast that likes to talk about it, is based in sim racing, even though we never talk about it. We know that iRacing is not always 100% accurate, not even sometimes 75% accurate, maybe not even 50% accurate most of the time. To see people, and it goes back to people being closed-minded, and it just goes back to so many of these flaws in humans in general.
Yeah.
But see, I can't even look at the camera or look at you guys on my screen because I'm like trying to formulate how to say this. So if I look at you guys, I get distracted.
And before you get here, I would say that my skepticism with the iRacing thing is not about like that they went on iRacing. They're like, look how it's going to race. It's the fact that they presented that and they're like, this is what we want.
Right.
And it's like, why is that what you want? Nobody else wants that.
Right. And
I mean, obviously, at the same time, NASCAR fans can't decide what they want. So I understand why there is some confusion. Okay, quick tangent. It irritated the crap out of me about after the Darlington race when people were like screaming ticker and they're like, how are people calling this good racing? Like, look at how spread out they are. And I'm like, do you watch the race or do you just look at numbers? Because if you watch the race, there were battles all race. But if you just stare at the ticker all day, then like, yeah, it's going to look bad. Like what?
But that same race, if it happened 5 years ago, complained about it. And that's the issue I have.
It's the benefit of lowered expectations is the other thing.
I don't think it's that. I think it's the fact it goes back to uniqueness. That race is unique.
Yeah.
It's a unique racetrack, but also now we've added that the packages have these two different packages. But those are and partially lowered expectations.
Yeah,
for sure. But
because like we've been so conditioned to just watching guys run full throttle and the cars are stuck to the track, and then you actually see, the drivers and the track become a challenge for once in like 5 years, and you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like, why are we not doing this anymore?
That was why I thought it was such a good race. That's why I loved it so much. And it's not for everyone, but I remember having this exact discussion with Joe. Like, I loved the race because of it. I couldn't keep my eyes off.
It was a blast. Even though the like Truex ran laps around everybody else, I had so much fun watching that race because so much was happening.
Yeah,
so. That's where my brain fails me. It's like, hey, let's look at everything.
Yeah,
nicely, but there are so many things that I'm. Talk about the car too, and NASCAR again. It's such a pivotal time. It's like a movie. This is the time that you have to have this car. This car has to be not a success. Go back to the drawing board, and you hope you have enough time to correct.
Yeah.
That's a big hope, but my worry with the car is that it is so under, and they're building it to have so much aero dependency under the car. It's like they're going from one extreme to another, and when you go from one extreme to another, that's where the issue lies. There seems to be a lack, and whether this is a team thing, a sanctioning body thing, an engineering thing, whatever it may be, there seems to be a lack of wanting to find a compromise. I feel like this track is in this reconfiguration. They didn't talk to drivers, and I don't think you have to talk to drivers. I don't think they had to talk to any of these drivers. If they want to, if Marcus Smith wants to blow up the Atlanta Motor Speedway and build a casino on it, that's his prerogative. It's his racetrack. He has 2 Cup Series dates for it.
Can you do that with Texas while he's at it too?
I mean, that's the one we'd hope, but you never know.
Yeah.
To see drivers and people being like, well, the drivers didn't have any input, blah blah blah. Sometimes when drivers have the input into it, you don't get the most success.
And to be fair, that is a really good point, because I do remember Jimmy Johnson years ago saying that they should knock down the banking at Daytona and make it like Auto Club, and everybody was like, Jimmy, stop talking. So that is a fair point. I will say that. I'm saying it more from a perspective of like when you have all of these drivers saying like, this is great, and they're like, what if we did the opposite?
No, and that's not the point I was trying. I'm more so trying to harp on the people just being like, oh, they completely ignored the drivers.
Yeah, I feel
not necessarily that they're doing the opposite of what the drivers want, but the fact that they openly admit to it. And
and they were like,
that's what rubs me the wrong way.
I run this.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Like trying to be macho
I'll do whatever
about
I want because it's my
track.
track.
It's like they're trying to make that like a cool thing, as if the drivers haven't been yearning for a lot of what a lot of the fans kind of want anyway.
Welcome to Atlanta, baby.
I'll talk to only the listeners right now. Yeah, it was weird how they like made that like a selling point. Like, we didn't consult any drivers.
Yeah,
we made the track easier to drive because we wanted to. Okay. Cool.
Well, we had
we wanted to water down our product,
and that's what rubbed me the wrong way. That they're, like you said, they're making it a selling point.
It's weird.
It's not something that I want you to sell me on. I'll take that if I ask you the question. Did you?
It would be like if somebody. It's like if somebody looked at Burger King's slogan being "Have it your way," and they'd be like, "We'll do it however we want," and then they're like, "Why is nobody buying our food?"
It's. I don't know. I think it could be a success. I
hope it's a success.
I think everyone's. Again, we can't base. I think we've been shown we can't base how Irish.
Yeah.
Real race cars work.
I mean, it's going to come down to the car, right? I mean. We can't make it like. I think people who are judging this are judging this strongly. I saw a lot of strong judgment on Twitter and stuff. Like, it's really unfair because we don't know how this car's going to drive. We have no idea. We have an idea. We have an idea, but we really don't. Like, in traffic with the correct package, after however many races into the season that we get to Atlanta. Whatever the schedule looks like at that point.
And that's why I say I'm like cautiously optimistic, because I'm like, I want it to work. I have my reservations. I'm not hoping it fails, but from my however, like 20 years of watching racing, I was like, okay, so I have a general idea of how things work, and some of these things don't make sense or seem like they're going down a path that doesn't make sense. And obviously, I'm not an expert, but I hope it works. I don't want NASCAR to go away. I want to enjoy NASCAR, and and in their defense, over the last year and a half, I've enjoyed racing a ton more than I did from like 2017 to 2019. So, yeah, I hope the next gen works, and I hope the Atlanta reconfigure works, but it's sketching me out a little bit.
Something that does work is the current Atlanta, and we head there for the final time this weekend.
Weird. Wait. Hold on, Joe. Wait a minute. So you're telling me that maybe we should have done our picks first before going into a deep discussion about a repave of one of the most beloved tracks on the schedule?
No, because weird. I think our picks are pointless. And Atlanta Motor Speedway is this weekend. It's our last race. I don't think no one's keeping track. So
AJ Allmendinger and Kyle Larson.
All right. Anyways, I was gonna say it's the last race here. It's the middle of the summer. It's in the day. I don't know. Thought that was a good idea, but they're allowing cooler. That's good. Which, by the way, they had it like earmarked. Oh well, there's special entrance. Like, always been the case. Why do you have to?
Why?
There's always been like an express lane.
Well, yeah. Why are coolers all of a sudden an issue in NASCAR races? Well, other than COVID, but
money.
Money.
How does COVID spread anymore?
Yeah.
Do you have to open up your cooler for 2 seconds?
Yeah, like the cooler thing I don't quite get. Just get a little stick. Get a little stick and wiggle it around.
Yeah. Just stick our fingers all in and feel around.
Brother, I don't.
Yeah, like you don't gotta.
It's even one of those things where it's like, if you're gonna have like a weapon in your cooler, like you're not gonna put a gun in there because then it's gonna get full of water and then it's not gonna work. And if you put a knife in there, what happens when you go to reach for a beer and then you cut yourself?
Yeah, but someone that wants
good point.
Somebody's not going to think that way.
Also, it's a cooler.
That sounds like somebody who was trying to hurt somebody would say.
Also, just get a stick. Get a little stick.
Yeah.
Get a little stick. See, look, I see your cooler. Here's my stick.
What they do.
I'm gonna. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
What
Thanks.
They do.
Here's my stick. Oh, you too. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I've never.
And if you're concerned about spreading COVID to someone else's cooler, alcohol wipe, stick, wipe.
That's what they've always done is the little sticks too.
Yeah.
It was a money grab because it was an extra way for them to make revenue since they lost revenue last year.
That or NASCAR's like, hey, no water, die.
You can't complain about the product if you're dead.
Damn it, Nashville.
It's like that meme where it's oh my god, I'm forgetting the name of famous communist dictator of Russia, but it's like how to stop unhappiness, just kill everyone who's unhappy.
Stalin.
Yeah, Stalin, yeah.
Definitely very much Stalin.
I just saw a tweet from Denny Hamlin.
Oh.
That made a really good point on the Atlanta.
Daddy Denny.
With all due respect, this same group has reconfigured Texas, Kentucky, and Bristol with 0 driver input. One of those lost a race, other one we don't race anymore, and last one we put dirt over it.
It's got a point.
Hey.
Ouch. That's kind of rough.
Based?
Damn.
Ring. Hello, a base department? Oh, it's for you.
God, that's kind of rough.
I think that's where my old driver input thing is. You don't necessarily need to contact them, but if you continue to screw up, maybe call. Ghostbusters, Matthew. Thanks.
I'm gonna go with my boy Lil Gator, Justin Allgaier for Saturday, and for Sunday, I'm not gonna take Kyle Larson. Who's been running good recently? Give me Kyle Busch. Give me another Kyle.
That's a good one.
I was like, Ryan Blaney won there earlier, but Ryan Blaney did his thing where he's like, I'm gonna win my one race and then run 14th every week.
Yeah.
So
and his crew chief's retiring at the end of the year, so maybe it's a little late season.
Yeah.
For Saturday, the easy pick would be Kyle Busch, so he can sweep 5 for 5 in Xfinity this year, and people hopefully stop complaining about him forever. I hate it, but that's another issue, another day.
Oh my
But
God!
I'm
what's the Xfinity Series?
gonna take Daniel Hemrick because I'm just gonna keep doing it every week and continue to be disappointed every week. For Cup, let's go ahead. We're gonna go with Brad Keselowski. He's always been really good here at Atlanta. Won the 2019 race here in the spring, held off Truex. That was like everyone's first indicator that the current package was not going to be good. And so I'll go with Brad Keselowski. Plus, he needs to win a race. I feel like that team's just waiting to win one randomly, like they normally do. A long shot for you, Matt DiBenedetto. He's going to start 12th. That 21 car has been really good on the mile and a halfs last year and a half. So I wouldn't be shocked to see if they can pull off the proverbial upset late in the season with 6 races left before the start of the playoffs. We got through everything. We did it.
That took us like an hour and 45 minutes.
Hour 39 minutes, but yes.
That's a good one. Split it up, have it with dinner, and then have it with your midnight snack.
There you go. But and Mr. Matthew Steelman, guest joiner, host, I don't know. You can buy his merch that he's wearing on the JTN merch store. We have a JTN merch store link below. We'll also separately link his merch. He's going to get his sticker out too, I believe.
I can't find the sticker.
Got that on a t-shirt as well as a sticker. Probably should put it on a hoodie because, more options for people. But Matt, where else can they find stuff from you?
I am on YouTube at DaleJune88 Rocks, but I mean, if you want to see memes, I post there. I'm on Twitter at msteelman51. It would be at unofficial bay, so I could have some brand uniformity, but that Twitter handle's been taken by an Ariana Grande stan who hasn't tweeted in 3 years, so still mad about that. And I have a Twitch at unofficial bay, but I never stream, but I might. I don't know. Follow me on Twitter if you want to see my bad takes about racing and stupid stuff that I draw. So
I have all those linked in the description below. Ew. Davey, you can find him at
Davey has it on Twitter, at D7H5 on Instagram, and at D7H5er on Twitch. That is with an ER at the end of that one.
All of Davey's things below, of course, where you can find more from me. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. At Johto Network here on YouTube, at Johto Network on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, where I just post little clips whenever I feel like it. And you can stay up to date with us that way. Facebook and Twitter, obviously the best way. And then you subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss a single live broadcast or any time a video goes up here. Once again, I want to thank Mr. Matthew Steelman, Matt Steelman, pioneer of the Makita Truck Series, Dale Jr. 88 Rocks here on YouTube. Also, producer, host of Oofside's football podcast. Assume that's going to be starting up here in a month or so.
I forgot I do a podcast.
I'll have that linked as well. Let us know if you like that.
Are you guys gonna do any more of that? Huh? Real quick.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today at work. I was like, I need to post in the server. Like, when do we want to do our off-season wrap-up? Because like the off-season for the NFL is so long, and like free agency and trades happen all throughout it. So
okay, I just wanted to let the people know that so we'll be coming back in some capacity.
Yeah,
cool.
Sure. I don't know. I'll just do a podcast by myself if nobody else is interested.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
There we
go. But folks, can't thank you enough for tuning in, for listening, for watching, whatever it may be, whether it be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Anchor, any of those, or here on YouTube where you got to see our stupid faces. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this, and have a wonderful rest of your day, week or night or whatever it may be, and enjoy the Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Slinger SRX race this weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.